Alright, hey foodies, it is Das Food here. I haven't done a video in quite a while. I was waiting on new equipment to come in, but thankfully, after about a week of waiting, Amazon informed me that my package was lost and it's never coming. So I'm glad I waited all that time, but we're just gonna go ahead and use the old equipment. So I know how my audio sounds, I'm aware, but anyway, just bear with me. Let's have fun. Let's do a good video here. In today's video, we are going to make New Year's resolutions for all of the killers in Dead by Daylight. I don't think this one needs a lot of explanation, so we're going to get right into it. If you don't know what New Year's resolutions are, Google exists, and I trust you. You're smart. So let's get right at it, and let's start with number 1, the Trapper. We're going to go in order of release date this time. I've been mixing it up in the more recent videos, but today we're going to keep it pretty straightforward. For each killer, what we're going to do is we're going to say who they are and what they need to resolve to do in this coming new year. So with that in mind, for Trapper, this one's pretty straightforward. He needs to go to the gym more so he is strong enough to carry all of his traps at once. If the devs don't want to give Evan a meaningful buff, he's gonna have to do it himself. So that's his resolution. Next up is the Wraith. He should get more used to asserting himself. Shyness is fine, but I want to live in a world where Philip Ojomo is comfortable without having to be invisible. An additional resolution for Wraith players would be stop using Noed. If you're nothing without it, then maybe you shouldn't have it at all. Next up is Hillbilly. Become a clout chaser. Max used to be a big deal in this game, like A tier in every tier list, but now he's a bit of a has-been, and that just won't do. Clout chase. Post TikToks. Skibbity toilet, or whatever the kids are doing. We only truly die when people forget us for the final time, so don't let that happen, Max. Next up is the Nurse, and for her, the resolution is to hop on Tinder. Sally's life fell apart when her hubby died, so what she needs is to get back out there, show him what she's made of, and probably unlearn all the stuff she learned at the asylum. I promise you, it's just gonna be better that way. After that, we get the Huntress. For her, I chose the resolution of learn a human language. Any of them. She is the only non-beastly killer who can't speak a language, so this girl needs to hop on Duolingo. And by the way, speaking of which, just like Anna, you can use the code DASFOOD to get 0% off your Duolingo premium subscription. You can thank me later. Next, we get the Shape, and for Michael Myers, I decided that his resolution should be to work up the courage to talk to his crushes, because people do like the strong silent type, but sometimes Mike makes them nervous by staring too much, and the heavy breathing is not helping either. Moving on, we get the Doctor, and for this one, it's just find a new hobby. I mean, sure, torturing people was like super in vogue back in the day, but you know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see a world where Herman Carter is a prodigy, not at torture and interrogation, but at, say, gardening or smoking meats. Maybe get into painting Warhammer figurines. Anything but what he's been doing, because it's just a little brutal. Next, we get the Hag, and for Hag, it's get off the carnivore diet. She has been eating nothing but the most dangerous game for countless years now, and while she is absolutely shredded, I feel like Lisa could actually stand to enjoy a few carbs. She's looking a little too thin here lately, and I think a bagel would probably help. For Bubba, I'm going to say stop spending time with his fake family. He may enjoy the comforts of home. I mean, who wouldn't love the blistering Texas heat? But Cook, Hitchhiker, and Sissy will never be his true family because, like it or not, Bubba, you belong in the fog, and we're never letting you leave again. We love you. After that, we get Freddy, and for this one, I'm going to say take a public speaking class. Freddy used to be so charismatic, but these days, he is almost mute. This year, he needs to King's Speech himself until he has found his old confidence, because we will all be happier for it. Number 11, the Pig, Amanda. For this one, yeah, I'm pretty passionate about this. Start denying all snoot boops. The meme is played out and the well has run dry. It is time for Amanda to remember her roots and start acting more cruelly to her victims. Also, I don't care what the Shrek kid says, stop doing the roar. It defeats the purpose of stealth. Please. For number 12, we have the Clown, and this is the only one I'm going to say no resolutions needed. Keep doing you, King. Of all the DBD killers, Kenneth Chase is most definitely living his best life. He's fast, he's strong, and he's allowed to collect infinite fingies for his belt. Yeah, no resolutions are needed here because he's literally living his ideal existence. The man has reached nirvana, and that's commendable even if his methods are questionable. Next, we get the Spirit. Rin needs to resolve to start learning to forgive others. Yes, her dad and ancient ancestor Kazan, they both suck, right? Nobody's denying that, but that's their problem right now, not hers. So take up meditation, go on long hikes, find God, do whatever it takes to put her anger behind her. Living eternally sounds nice, but not if you have to live as a vengeful, disfigured ghost that makes Waluigi noises the entire time. Next, we get the Legion, and for them, I'm going to say they should annoy behavior until they give them what they've been asking for. Not pools of blood during Frenzy, sorry Tat, but that's right, a Sonic the Hedgehog cosmetic. The entire appeal of this character is running fast, so it's time to embrace that. An additional resolution for Legion players would be to stop using Joey's mixtape. Sure, it sounds nice, but it only works on bad players, and it's kind of a waste, but despite that, I see it run all the time, so I'm begging you, please stop wasting your add-ons. Next, we get the Plague. For this one, Adiris needs to pick up a basketball. Things may seem hunky-dory in the fog, but there's money to be made and fame to be had if Adiris would just give things a go on the basketball court. Going off of this picture, which is old and doesn't include anybody after the Oni, by the way, Plague looks to be somewhere over 6'5", which would put her 3 or more inches over the average height of a WNBA player. Just saying, the girl could likely dominate, and I think it'd be fun to watch. Next is Ghostface. I'm tempted to do the same thing I did for the clown, but I promised myself I wouldn't do any double dipping, so instead let's go with this. For the new year, I'd like to see Danny work on what does and doesn't count as exposing him. The mechanic is inconsistent, and he should really work on that, define his priorities. Next is Demogorgon, and gee, they really did take away my easy layup of just saying Demodog should just come back to the game, right? Nevertheless, I still face enough demos that I can confidently say that in 2024, these puppies need to dig more holes. The portals are hugely helpful, and yet plenty of demo pups that I encounter in the wild don't seem to create them. You have claws for a reason. Use them. Next, we get the Oni. If Rin needs to work on her ability to forgive, Kazan needs to become more open-minded. Culture changes, and while it's totally natural to prefer the way things used to be, none of us can stop the winds of change, and it's better to simply stick to our own morals and allow the world to change around us. Appreciating tradition and heritage is a good thing, but once you murder half of Japan because they decided to go in a different direction, you've definitely gone a bridge too far. Let's work on that anger, big guy. Next, we get the Deathslinger. For this one, I would say start smoking cigars. He already has skins with pipes, and I'm assuming that's chewing tobacco that he is spitting in the menu screens, but Caleb could greatly benefit his image if he would take up smoking cigars. He canonically already has one on his person that he stole from Henry Bayshore, so there's really no excuse. He would just look really, really cool with some cigar cosmetics. I would be a big fan of that. But maybe it's just me trying to make myself feel better about my own hopeless addiction to cigars. At number 20, we have the Executioner, and oh dude, so easy. Just put eye holes in your helmet this year. I promise. He will be a lot less grumpy if he can see where he's going, and in addition to that, Pyramid Head should resume the squat routine he had back in the day. He needs to undo Dead by Daylight's harshest nerf. Next is the Blight. He already fixed the terrible posture he had at launch, so we know our boy Talbot is capable of positive lifestyle change. This year, I'd like to see him find a new, less severe addiction than the one he currently has. Don't let me tell you how to live your life, but sticking vials of glowing goo in your chest just doesn't seem like sound medical practice. Maybe join Deathslinger in his cigar club? They're not good for you, I'll grant you that, but it is definitely progress. Progress is progress, right? After that, we get the twins, and for this one, dude, so easy. Just buy some clothes for Victor. If you're cold, he's cold. So warm the poor little fella up with something like a sick puffer jacket. Just give him a mini version of Jeff's yellow coat, and the world will be an instantly better place, and I promise you the twins will be the most played killer, and they will have a gajillion mains, I promise. After that, we get the Trickster, and this one would be find something heavier to throw at survivors. Ji-Woon, right now, you are taking 6 or 7 hits with your projectiles to do what Huntress and Pyramid Head can do in 1. That is the definition of working hard, not smart. Use that wrinkly brain of yours and find something more effective to hit survivors with. Might I suggest larger, sharper knives? Just an idea, you don't have to take it. 24 is Nemesis. For this one, dude, treat your zombies better. I know they don't have a union or any kind of legal protections in the fog, but these zombies still bust their butts for Nemesis, and what is their usual reward? Punched, tentacled, and ridiculed. It breaks my heart every time. You need to do better. Next, we get the Cenobite. This one is also easy. Quit being a gooner. Pinhead moans when he's stunned. He rubs the lament configuration very suggestively, and he speaks in double entendres so obvious that you think, yeah, I mean, they've been memed to hell and back. You want people to like you, Elliot, Spencer. Stop making them uncomfortable, man. It's too much. After that, we get the artist. Carmina just needs to work on, ironically, being a little more creative. And I know that's an odd complaint regarding somebody called the artist, but she's got the Green Lantern problem. She can turn her weapon into literally anything she chooses, and what she goes with is a variety of blades that are only minorly different from one another. Has she ever considered, I don't know, a cannon? An AK-47, a much longer weapon that can reach across the entire map. Right now, Carmina is her own worst limitation, and I'd like to see that change. Next is Sadako. Cut that greasy hair. When Sadako moves her hair from her face, she insta-kills people. So why keep her eyes hidden? Is she stupid? Sadako could literally be the strongest killer in the game if she would just make use of a pair of scissors, and I'm baffled that she hasn't done it. 28 is the Dredge. This year, Dredge just needs to set itself up for success. Start by hiring some movers, a good moving company, you know, to come in and relocate some of the lockers closer to the center of the map, especially at ones like the meat plant. Don't make life harder on yourself than it has to be. You're already essentially in hell. You may as well make it as cozy as you can. And it doesn't help that so many maps just have lockers all on the outside of the map when lockers are Dredge's bread and butter. So work on that. Next up, the Mastermind. Yeah, I don't know. Wesker's in a really good place right now. I guess priority number one should be to patent whatever technology he has that lets him store an infinite amount of sunglasses in his coat. This dude's got a bag of holding and hasn't even once thought to commercialize it. It's extra shameful because Albert would be the perfect evil CEO stereotype. So yeah, Albert, just lean into it. Be the Patrick Bateman of Dead by Daylight. Next is the Knight. For the Knight, I would say find better friends. I know Alejandro, Durkosh, and Sonder have been down with Tarhosh since day one-ish, but what they have in enthusiasm, they lack in ability. Sonder is slow, Alejandro is dumb, and Durkosh, alright, he's cool. Durkosh can stay. But the other two have got to go. Replace them with more capable allies, and Tarhosh will be able to enter God mode. After that, we get Scully the Merchant. So easy, this one. Just take off that darn mask, or replace it entirely. I promise you, people would like this killer 100 times more if she wasn't wearing a bedazzled gas mask that both looks dumb and proves to be functionally useless. Oh, and while you're at it, Skull Merchant, sell some skulls, will ya? Every nickname in this game makes sense, except for yours. Change that. After that, we get the Singularity. For this one, swap sides. I am so serious about this. Hux was friendly and helpful until he entered his crystals give me energy phase and alienated everyone in his personal life. Get rid of the crystals and start being like that one friendly droid from Rogue One. Why live as a Singularity when you could instead be part of a Survivor family? I don't get it. Our penultimate selection here is the Xenomorph, and for this one I'm going to go with stop playing by the rules. I don't know if DBD's Xenomorph has watched the original 2 films, played Isolation, or consumed any alien media at all, but as of right now, I don't think it realizes how much it's limiting itself. The Xenomorph is one of sci-fi's most OP creatures, and the fact that it is currently countered by pallets and tiny turrets, hilarious. And finally, we get to Chucky, and for this one, I'm going to say invest in a really quality bomb shelter, because I promise you, with how much survivors really hate this killer, there is going to be a massive nuke dropped on Chucky and his scamper ability. It's gonna be bad. He's gonna get just absolutely obliterated, probably deservedly so. I mean, if I'm being entirely straight, look, he's fun from the killer side, but he is miserable to go against. So yeah, treat it like it is Fallout and you want to be on Vault-Tech's good side, because I promise you there is a nuke coming. But that's gonna do it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down below if you have alternative ones for these killers, or if you're gonna, if you have something creative to say for any of the survivors. I think that'd be fun, because I don't plan on doing a survivor video, but maybe I'll change my mind. I don't figure I will though. But anyway, like, subscribe, do the YouTube stuff. Your New Year's resolution for this year is just to keep doing you, have a great time with whatever it is you're doing. Thank you so much though for all the support and all the love throughout 2023, and I look forward to an awesome 2024. Until next time, I have been Das Food. Bye, friends.